This Void Titan build is absolutely insane. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this because with this setup, you can throw your shield throw back to back with almost no downtime, giving yourself non-stop overshields, non-stop weaken effects, non-stop void breach generation, and non-stop devour uptime that basically turns you into an immortal god of destruction. Welcome to Insightful Gaming, and today we're diving into a Void Titan build that doesn't just feel strong, it feels broken in all the right ways, because every time you throw your shield, you weaken enemies, you refund your melee energy, you create void breaches, and then picking those breaches up instantly feeds your loop. And once Devour kicks in from your artifact perk Power from Pain, you are healing constantly while deleting everything in front of you. I cleared high-end content with this build and never once felt threatened, because Void already hits hard this season. But this combination of second chance, shield throw synergy, and void weapon bonuses pushes it to a completely new level of power. And if you want to run this build with me, join my Discord in the description, come hang out, run activities, or even join my clan if you need a home. This is one of the most fun, most aggressive, and most unstoppable Titan builds I've used all year. So let's break down why it works and how to set it up correctly so you can become unkillable too. For our exotic armor, we are using Second Chance. And this single piece completely transforms shield throw from a simple melee into a full combat engine. Because the perk gives you a second charge of shield throw, lets your throws weaken targets, creates a void breach on final blows, and even turns your shield throw into a shield-piercing projectile that can stun barrier champions while also refunding your shield throw energy when you break their shields. This already makes the exotic strong, but it becomes downright absurd when you start picking up the void breaches you create. Because every breach gives you a burst of shield throw energy, letting you chain throws endlessly while maintaining overshields through Bastion and healing through Devour. Second Chance essentially gives you infinite grenades, but in melee form, because you're constantly weakening enemies, constantly generating breaches, and constantly refreshing your entire void loop, turning your Titan into a machine that never stops throwing, weakening, and regenerating. It ties the entire build together and makes the melee rotation feel completely unstoppable. For our weapons, we're leaning fully into Void synergy, starting with Compact Defender as our primary, because this sidearm is incredibly strong this season thanks to destabilizing rounds, which spreads volatility on kills and turns entire enemy groups into chain reaction explosions, perfectly matching the non-stop weaken effects from your shield throw. The second perk, Thermal Atomization, ramps the weapon's damage up at high heat and causes defeated targets to explode, stacking even more void explosions into every fight. For your special slot, we're using the Praxic Blade Sword, which is simply extremely strong this season and fits perfectly into our loop, giving you high burst damage and reliable close-range cleanup when you're not throwing shields. And for heavy, you can use whatever you want since the build isn't dependent on that weapon slot at all, giving you full flexibility in any activity. For our subclass, we are running the Void Titan with Twilight Arsenal as the super, because it gives us massive burst damage, perfect for deleting champions and bosses once we've stacked weaken effects across the room. Our class ability is Rally Barricade to help us reposition quickly and keep uptime high on overshield generation through Bastion. Our melee is Shield Throw, the centerpiece of the build, because with Second Chance giving us 2 charges and refunding energy through void breaches, we can throw shields almost non-stop, continually weakening enemies, generating breaches, and feeding our entire loop. Our grenade is Vortex Grenade to give us reliable area denial and lingering damage that stacks perfectly with volatile and weakened targets. Our aspects are Bastion and Offensive Bulwark, creating a tight synergy where placing Barricade gives you Overshield, and that Overshield then boosts your melee damage, range, and regeneration, making your shield throws hit harder and come back even faster. For fragments, we run Echo of Provision to generate melee energy from grenade hits, Echo of Harvest to create orbs of power from defeating weakened enemies, Echo of Undermining to ensure every grenade applies, Weaken, and Echo of Exchange so melee final blows further feed grenade energy. These abilities, aspects, and fragments combine into a loop where your shield throws weaken everything, Your grenades extend the weaken and keep enemies grouped. Your void breaches feed your abilities instantly, and your overshields keep you nearly unkillable from start to finish. For your stats, the priorities are simple and built entirely around keeping your loop active, so you want to max out weapons first and push it as close to 200 as possible for weapon damage, swapping, and handling. Then focus on your class ability, so Rally Barricade comes back quickly for Overshields through Bastion, and finally invest into Grenade stat, so your Vortex grenades cycle consistently. You don't need to worry about melee cooldown at all, because Second Chance and the Void Kit feed your shield throw energy non-stop, so the stat spread stays efficient and fully supports the build's rotation. For armor mods, we're focusing entirely on feeding shield throw energy, grenade energy, and orb generation. So on the helmet, we run Heavy Ammo Finder to sustain your heavy slot, Harmonic Siphon to create orbs off void weapon kills, and Hands-On to build super energy from melee final blows. On the gauntlets with Second Chance, we run Melee Kickstart to refund melee energy when you use shield throw, Impact Induction to feed grenade energy when your melee hits, and Bolstering Detonation to push class ability energy when your grenade deals damage. On the chest, you simply choose the defensive resistances needed for your activity. On the boots, we use Recuperation for instant healing from orbs, Insulation to get barricade energy back when picking up orbs, and Innovation to keep Vortex grenade uptime high. And on the Titan mark, we run Reaper so your first weapon kill after using barricade creates an orb, Outreach, to reduce melee cooldown when using your class ability, and Bomber to reduce grenade cooldown every time you drop your barricade. Altogether, these mods keep orbs flowing, abilities refreshing constantly, and the shield throw loop running without interruption. For seasonal mods, we only need the void-focused perks that directly power our weaken loop and Devour uptime, starting with Power from Pain in the third row, because rapid final blows on weakened enemies grant Devour, giving you constant healing throughout every fight. We also pick up Repulse, which is perfect when using a sword, since shortly after guarding with it, your light and heavy attacks stun unshielded combatants, making it strong against unstoppables in higher tier content. In the fourth row, we take Singularity Blade, which gives your melee and sword hits the ability to weaken targets when you have a void elemental buff, and even creates weakening bursts on final blows, stacking perfectly with everything our build is already doing. And finally, we grab Void Infestation from the last row, which causes defeated weakened enemies to spawn a tracking projectile that flies out to weaken additional targets, keeping your weaken chain active across entire groups without you having to throw shields at every single enemy. These perks tie the whole build together by keeping weaken effects rolling, feeding Devour, and letting your weapons and abilities wipe rooms effortlessly. This Void Titan build turns you into a non-stop shield throwing powerhouse with endless overshields, constant Devour, and a weaken loop so strong that enemies can't even fight back before they melt. And the synergy between Second Chance, Compact Defender, and the Void subclass makes the entire playstyle feel aggressive, fast, and completely unstoppable in any activity you take it into. If you want to run this build with me or share your own setups, join the Discord in the description, come play, and feel free to join my clan if you're looking for a fire team. Thanks for watching Insightful Gaming, and I'll see you in the next one.